Julie and the Painter.
Listen, I thought today we'd talk about our evening routine and how we've kind of evolved it over time and tried to make
Evening.
sure our evening routine, like the after work routine, our evening routine as a couple, and how
So,
we
so
kind of
like,
tried to figure it out.
so like the weekdays.
Well, it could be any time, but particularly, I think, everyone I think has trouble or has issues with the whole like making sure your evening is smooth sailing, right? I mean, smooth sailing. And we've figured
No,
a few things out. Yeah.
yeah, we got a couple tricks. Yeah,
We have a few tricks, and I think that they could be helpful to our viewers. What do you think?
let's give it a shot. Before we get too far in, if you're new here, welcome to Julie and the Painter. We're glad you found us. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future episodes. And if you've been here before, you know the drill. Like, comment, share the chaos. Let's get into it.
First of all, I think it's hard because people have different experiences during the day. And very often, one partner has a very different experience during the day than the other partner. And then you get together in the evening and you're kind of trying to put it all together and reconnect.
Slow down, man. What are you talking about with this different experience business?
Well, it could be anything from one person has a good day at work to one person has a bad day at work to, one person maybe doesn't work and one person does.
Yeah.
One person has a very hectic job. One person doesn't. One person stays home with the kids. One person doesn't. I mean, there's a myriad of possibilities, and we've been through several of them. I mean, there have been times in our relationship where you've worked and I haven't. There have been times in our relationship where we both have worked and we've had different experiences during the day, and we've had to figure out how to come together in the evening and make that all work.
Yeah, one thing you're talking about, one person not working and the other one working, and I think a lot of people want to think that doesn't happen a lot anymore, but I think especially with older couples like us, it's more common than you think.
No, it happens both with whether it's a young couple where
Yeah.
where the woman stays home with the kids during the day,
Ha-
or an
young
older couple
children,
where maybe the one partner only works part time or has quit working, or it just varies a lot.
Yeah.
Now, my work experience has changed a lot over time. Part of that has to do with having an adult son with autism. There has just been times when it's been impossible for me to have a typical 40-hour 8 to 5 job.
Yeah.
And there have been times, that I have worked and times that I haven't worked, both in this relationship and in the past. And you have a very, intense, busy, high stress job. Well, it's busy. Okay. Whether
Yeah.
it's, I mean, some days I'm sure are more
No,
stressful than
I do.
others.
I
Yeah.
have a very busy job.
Yeah. Very busy job where your mind is pinging all the time and people are needing
Yeah.
you all the time and you're
Yeah.
figuring things out all the time.
Yeah, it's a pretty rare day that I don't walk into some form of problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, our jobs, even when I have been working, have been very different. I work a lot, I'm in that kind of a more non-for-profit, world, disability world kind of jobs. And so
Yeah.
lots of even my work days are like experiences where I want to share them with you. It's like, oh, this happened today. I
Yeah.
have this family that I'm helping that I'm really concerned about. No HIPAA violations or anything. But whereas you're much more like, oh my gosh, my day was crazy stressful. I had a bazillion things. I'm just trying to shut that out and
Yeah, a
move
couple
on.
things caught fire, something collapsed, and
Right.
yeah.
So, yeah. You honestly do a very good job
Yeah.
I mean, you do a really good job, especially considering what your job is of having a workplace home balance,
Yeah,
which
I think part of that is I've done it a long
I was
time,
gonna say, I'm
and
sure,
I
yeah.
learned over the years how to kind of flip that switch when I come in the house, and this is my home life.
So that's kind of the first area I think we could discuss. We have a few rules that we've kind of developed over time, but we'll get to those. So I think the first thing is just that one partner sometimes needs stimulation in the evening, and the other partner is trying to kind of turn off the stimulation and chill out in the evening. So how do you balance that?
I get where you're going with
Mm-hmm.
that, but let's be a little more clear for the audience. So, like, I, for example, have had this hectic day. Maybe things didn't go quite the way I was wanting them to later in the afternoon, long meetings. We could have gotten a little argument about direction. We were trying to take something. So when I get home, what I want to do is take my shoes off, put that behind me. It's going to be right there when I get back tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
And whereas you would prefer to talk about all the details of what's gone on through the day,
Or
right?
even just sometimes I just am bored, especially when I wasn't working. And so I need stimulation in the evening. I need to be like, what do we need to think about? What do we need to talk about? What do we need to do? And you're kind of done with that. So there's a kind of a disconnect there, a opposites kind of thing there. And we have to figure that out. And we can get into the other aspects. I could always, I always digress, but
So I think probably the biggest mistake we make there, and it's common with couples like that have a spouse that stay home, is you want me to tell you about my day.
I just want to
A-
connect. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes, it's not always, but sometimes it's a mistake to go down that route as soon as I come home. Especially and I'll tell you when it can be particularly bad. Like if I had a rough day
Mhm.
and I'm very aggravated and I'm very trying really hard to make something work and I'm facing these roadblocks and maybe I've got a couple personalities that I'm having trouble persuading to where they need to be. And then if I bring that up, my mind's going to go right back to it. It comes right back into my mind. And for the next hour, I'm going to be fretting over
Right. And
it. Yeah.
sometimes we do, especially if there's something in particularly that's bothering you. Sometimes we do talk about it, because it just comes up. You tell me, and then, we kind of get embroiled in it. And that's not always bad because I like to know what's going on in your life, but for just an average day, I sometimes still need this. And it's not even always work. I still need this, like, hey, what's going on? Let's talk about politics. Let's talk about just anything that gives my mind some like intellectual stimulation. And you've had that all day long, so you don't need that as
Yeah, no,
much.
and that's a real difference, and it's not just us. I know
No,
for a
no, I know
fact
it's
that
not.
that's a common issue with couples. Now, there is a time when it works out real well. If you ask me like if something really funny happened at work or some real entertaining drama or something, well, then that could be a really good story to share right after work when I get home, and we can laugh and have a good time
And
with it.
honestly, it works both ways. Even with me too. Like there's times if something bad has happened, that's not really what I want to. We're both really good about saying like, I don't want to talk about that right now. Or if you're, or you're really good about saying like, it wasn't a great day. I don't want to talk about it. I've learned to not take that personally.
Yeah, and when I say that, it's not because there's a secret.
Right, right.
It's just let's not drag it up because it's not going to take me to a good place.
So I think where we're getting in our program is that figuring that out between you, like what is the balance there, like your need versus your partner's need. How can you balance that out? And I think that first hour when everyone comes together is important to kind of be like maybe that should be kind of a chill time like you even or even half an hour whatever it is like to let you just get your shoes off get started and the first thing is like hey what are we going to do for dinner that might be before we get into how was your day. And how was your
Yeah.
day is different than tell me about your day. Like you can say
Right,
like it
right.
wasn't a great day, I'll tell you about it later or it was okay or and then we can go from there. So one of the things you do for you and it's different for everybody is you actually cook when you come home.
Yeah, I do most of the cooking here, and because I'm an artist, when I cook, it's kind of almost like an artistic. What would you call that? Like a release.
Yeah, outlet release,
Like
yeah.
an artistic
Mhm.
outlet to cook.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll plate it real pretty and make it look fancy, and to me, it's almost like a little project, and that helps me to get my mind off of whatever it is that's worrying me, and I'm more focused on how can I pull this off to be fantastic for the family.
Which is a win-win for me. The only, downside is if I'm really, really feeling bored and I'm needing to connect and I'm like, "Oh, so now he's gonna ignore me while he cooks." And then we have to kinda figure that out. But, I mean, typically, we can talk while you cook,
Yeah,
right?
I can talk while I cook.
Yeah, but, I mean, sometimes more than others. So, anyway, we do figure that out. So, one thing we figured, early in our married life, and it was almost a joke, we had worries about our kids for various reasons, right?
Oh yeah, I still do sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Well, we
no
have we
doubt.
have
6 kids between
six
us,
adult children between us,
right,
and
and we have
it,
our oldest son has autism, so
yeah, it's not unusual for there to be something to worry about there.
right, Right. So we kind of had a joke early in our marriage, that we couldn't bring up an unsolvable problem within what was our thing?
It
Like
was after 7
after
p.m.
7.
I think the way I put it was, we can't talk about anything, don't bring up anything stressful after 7 p.m.
Which is a little unrealistic, gives us not a lot of time, but
But the concept is good, right? The concept is, let's try to get it all wound down so that, the last hour, 2 hours of the evening that we spend together are a little more trouble free, relaxing, winding down as we get ready for bed.
right.
Because if we talk about, for me, if we talk about the world's most stressful topic at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, when I'm getting ready to go to sleep, I'm going to be up all night.
Right. So if we start talking about something that's troubling us about our finances or one of our kids or something that we are not going to solve tonight, I would
Right.
say even 8 o'clock is a good. Jason typically comes up and starts getting ready for bed about 9:30. We try to be asleep by 10:30. There's no reason if we can't solve it tonight. There's no reason to bring it up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's okay to even be like, you know what, I'm concerned about this, but let's figure out a time to talk about it. I think that's okay. But bringing up something that's very troubling or very stressful for you right before bedtime, it just isn't going to lead to like great intimate moments or good sleep, right?
Right. Right.
So we've learned to not do that.
And I like to wake up early.
Very
I
early,
get up,
much too early.
settle down. We don't agree on what time I get up, but I like to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Which is ridiculous.
It's
by
a
the way,
whole
so.
different. It's a whole different subject, but there's a reason why I like that, and then it works for me.
Yeah.
But because of that, I like to head up to the bedroom around 9:30. I don't like to stay up too late during the week when I have to work.
When we first got married, it was 10:30. It's decreased.
She'll never
over
let
time.
me live past it.
It used to be 10:30, and then it got to be 10. Now we're down to 9:30. So God knows what it'll be.
So
He gets
you
up
think
at
we should change it to 9?
he gets up at 5 a.m., which is very early, and he doesn't leave for work till 7 a.m. So we disagree about needing that quantity of time to prepare for his work day. But it's him, so I don't make it a he knows how I feel, and we don't make it an issue.
So there was something else that we figured out about having a good. What the hell is this show about?
Having a good evening and not having conflict. It's very listen, first of all, setting the stage. This is a good show, damn it. Don't setting the stage for a pleasant evening starts with that whole figuring out what the other one needs when you come in the door. That was
Yeah,
really our
yeah.
point. So Jason has to understand if I need conversation that might be what I need. We have to kind of figure that out. If like tonight he really wanted to cook, I was like, I need to get out of the freaking house. So we went and got a margarita, and had some Mexican.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to, figuring out what your spouse needs and giving it to them, especially once you're done with kids. Kids throw a whole huge monkey wrench in the whole thing, and most. We're assuming that, we're past that, and a lot of our viewers, we're assuming are kind of past that. But figuring out what the other one needs and kind of playing off of that in the first hour or so is important. Not bombarding the other one with issues and needs and expecting certain things, and kind of reading the room, is an important part of setting the stage for a good evening. And then I think the other thing that we brought up is also realizing that winding down and having some peace in the evening and being close to each other before you go to sleep is not bringing up stressful, horrible things that aren't solvable before bedtime.
Well, there's something else that brings me to. I can get wrapped up in projects
Right.
whether it's cooking dinner, cleaning up after dinner, doing yard work, if I'm mowing the lawn or cleaning up or whatever it is. And I enjoy being productive and doing those types of things. So I have to, I always try to be careful, and I try to knock off with 1 hour, at least 1 hour that I can give to you at the end of the night, where we can sit down, relax, the work stops, and a lot of times we'll watch a comedian on TV or binge watch some show and spend that little time, about an hour at the end of the day, with nothing going on but just relaxing and being together.
Right. Which is, I was going to bring that up too. So that's something that we've figured out as a compromise. Now, it can be tricky because sometimes we get started with dinner late and we don't end up having that, but But that's our goal. Jason does really, really try to be kind of done with his projects, done
Yeah,
with his stuff that he's doing by 8:15, and then we spend an hour, hour and a half together, and then we kind of get ready for bed. That is our typical
that
couple routine.
that's what we shoot for
That's what we
on a
shoot for.
normal night.
So those three components really just kind of figuring out what's going on with the other, not trying to bombard each other with problems, questions, and issues in the first half an hour to hour, spending some quality quiet time together. Honestly, that's kind of mindless time. So that's not like intense time. That's like mindless, like we sit beside each other, touching on the couch. We spend an hour together watching a show that we like, and then we get ready for bed, and that's that. Now, I know all of you are asking, well, when the fuck do you talk about things that matter? And we do. We do talk about
Yeah,
things that matter.
yeah, we do.
And we try to figure that out. Like it might just be that we bring that up, like we really need to talk about this. What's a good time to do that?
Yeah, and sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes it creeps in, and we do talk about it late at night. It happens.
It's happened, yeah. And it's turned into some bad nights. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, it
It's turned
happens.
into some
But
sleepless nights. It happens,
but we try
right?
to keep it from that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's perfect, but we try to keep it out of that range.
We do. We've learned that no good really comes from that. But we also don't want to push things under the rug to the point that we don't talk about them. So it might be like, listen, we need to find some time to talk about this. And another thing that people can do that I always think this is a good idea is sometimes when you're going to talk about something that's no fun, kind of follow it up with something that is fun. Like be like, okay, Saturday morning, let's talk about our finances and then we can go out to brunch. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
so it's not like, there's a little like silver lining to the whole cloud,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
It works, right? It
yeah.
helps. There's no perfect pieces to all this, but I think being aware of it and just being aware of the fact that you want to have a pleasant night, you don't want to push each other's buttons, and everyone has different needs, and that's the way it is. I mean, just in general, my need is to connect and have stimulating conversation, which is part of the reason that we do this podcast to begin
Yeah.
with. And you have more of a need for like peace and time to do your projects. So I try to give you that.